the naughty 90s, and now it's taken us into the nicer noughties. Hi, and welcome to the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. This will be my co-hosts now. The couriers are bringing them in. Look, girls, where have you been? It's not that far from bloody Annandale, is it?
Look, this is my little dyke on bike. She's one of 7,500 people in the parade from 5 different continents, including Antarctica.
Oh, hello to the penguin.
Oh, my turn. And hello, I've arrived here with Kerry. Of course, Bob couldn't arrive here on a bike because if his hair got windswept, someone would lose an eye. And I hear he's scared of girls' germs.
Oh, that's not true. Mum just said I wasn't allowed. And, of course, joining us all through the night, giving us the feel from the street, the people's drag queen, down on the starting line. Come in, Vanessa Wagner.
Well, hello, this is Vanessa Wagner at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras 2000 launching pad marshalling area. This is like a big engine idling, waiting for the parade to go. It's extremely exciting, and I'm here with some of my favourite friends, the Asian Marching Boys. How are we? My godfather. We'll see you back up there.
And of course, girls, you know, it doesn't just happen. 1,400 volunteers have worked an estimated 14,000 hours to get the parade together.
I'll tell you what, this city has been absolutely stripped-mined of every sequin, every G-string, every feather. We're going to get full value out of our colour TVs tonight.
Oh, I just wish I had colour.
So I want you to grab whoever you're with, your cat or dog if necessary, just like I'm holding McKellen, because we're going to have a gorgeous night.
And as always, let's start out the way we always do with Ducks on Bucks.
Well, it's happening. It's Mardi Gras time and our Parade 2000 is here. You're about to see some wonderful signs. Individuals just walking up the street in their civvies and some fantastic, elaborate, wonderful costumes. Large groups of boys and girls in choreographed marching routines and some wonderful floats. Most of all, this is about a community celebrating who they are and the lives they lead. Happy Mardi Gras.
Can you feel it?
Oh, well, certainly can. It's a huge throb and roar just went. There is nothing nicer than a couple of hundred sexually ambiguous women on throbbing machines coming up Oxford Street. We're in Sydney tonight.
Surely you are saying that with conviction.
I am.
Tell you what, these girls can eat Vespers for breakfast, aren't they fantastic?
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you too when you came in before and with all that, you didn't seem to be wearing helmets. I mean, I could have, you know, I'd obviously be...
A very consistent supporter of Indigenous issues.
And I think we're also seeing here black, white and pink. They have 400 marchers. I think this is one of the biggest groups this evening. This is a community organisation that keeps reconciliation high on the agenda in the gay and lesbian community.
In May of this year, there's going to be a huge parade across Sydney Harbour Bridge is being opened up for Corroboree 2000. And a lot of these people are actively involved in organising that. It's a great pleasure that the original demonstrations that began this whole parade way back in the late 70s, there were often Aboriginal people there because they also had a little bit of trouble with the law in those days. And it's great, they're still part of it, 23 years later.
They've got a banner promoting the Reconciliation Bridge Walk on May the 28th, and all cool people will be there.
And in there somewhere we were told Evelyn Scott, who's the chair of the National Council on Aboriginal Reconciliation, you know, a great leader and elder in that community, she's in there somewhere having the night of her life. It's her first parade. There's some of the sea of hands. Fantastic images over the last couple of years where they've covered Bondi Beach, in front of Parliament House in Canberra, all over Australia. There's thousands of these hands.
That beautiful symbol for reconciliation.
As always, that power from simplicity.
Previously, this group have marched as Queers for Reconciliation. One of the very few times I think you can be openly queer, Aboriginal, and get a very big clap from thousands of people.
Well, hello. What are we seeing here?
I think we're seeing the Asian Marching Boys 2000. A huge gold and red dragon covering the full length of an 8-ton truck.
I think this group... Oh, my goodness me.
Wow.
That's not an Asian Marching Boy.
It must be cold. Did you see the size of those nipples?
Sorry, I think that tassel took my eye out. Well, coming back to the Asian Marching Boys, I'm just looking through one eye now.
It's a celebration of the coming of age of the Asian community. The dragon represents taboos and powers which in the past have prevented Asian gay men from celebrating their sexuality, while the dragon slayer represents a symbol of taking control of their destiny.
Something interesting is that they say that the choreography tonight is sensual and masculine to break down the stereotype of Asian men being feminine. And look, I'm going to have to pick up myself
more
here.
masculine than this.
The Bloody Marys. Here
Now,
we
girls,
have giant...
do you mind if I defer to you for the commentary here?
A number of giant tampons. I think, of course, this is a reference to the fact that under GST, tampons are going to be taxed as a luxury item.
Yes,
we can only afford them duty-free.
The simple gay and lesbian, transgender, transsexual contribution to the tax debate.
Talk about a heavy day.
The cloth thickens, in fact. Don't you love it? The cloth thickens.
Shouldn't these girls be horse riding, windsurfing, sailing?
They reckon PMT is enough. Don't give us GST
Oh, look,
as well.
I tell you what, if all these women have PMT, they'll be weeping and eating their body weight in chocolate by the end of the parade.
For some reason, I associate a giant blood-stained tampon now with John Howard because he's been appearing with them so often all around the country.
He'll be so thrilled if he's watching tonight. Hello, John, if you're watching, he'll be so thrilled to hear that. Did you notice one of them was blue?
I
Well,
think
that
yes.
represented the colour of blood as we see it on tampon commercials on television.
Of course, or else royalty, perhaps.
Royalty, that's right.
We've moved to the gay and lesbian rights lobby. This group have been pushing on a whole range of issues to get legal equity for many, many years. And there's someone with "Plug It Up" written on it. Yes, the gay and lesbian rights lobby. And I think we're going to hear something from Alan Kirkland, the co-convener of the lobby, who's pushing on a whole range of issues right now.
Being here in Mardi Gras in the year 2000, it's easy to think that the days of Mardi Gras as a call for civil rights are over, but that's just not the case. On very simple issues like superannuation, we still lack equal rights. Nobody wants special treatment, we just want a fair go. Happy Mardi Gras.
Into marching flags, and Bob, I thought I'd be helping people during the night who are wondering, do I have these sorts of feelings, these sexual feelings for people of the same sex? And my view is, if you're wiping up at night after dinner and you get a desire to whirl your tea towel around, you could be showing early tendencies of this flag-waving experience.
You're certainly qualified to be a flagger. This is their third year in the parade, and for the first time the group includes 10 women.
10 women who picked up that tea towel and said, I'm going to do more than the dishes with it.
Tell you what, they've been practicing since December, so they're pretty good at it. I think we're seeing Gaviation. Gaviation 2000. Are your tray tables in an upright position, ladies and gentlemen?
I have an overwhelming desire to stand up and salute when my anthem is
I think we're seeing Pam Ann.
And you know, and I think we're hearing the gorgeous voice of the wonderful Paul Capsis.
Yes, Paul Capsis, who's a marvellous singer, recorded a special version of this.
Yes, they're doing the parade of airlines instead of the parade of athletes in this Olympic year. Gaviation is a social group comprised of flight attendants and their friends, the majority of whom are gay men who work for Qantas. And I think these are the attendants that you turn to in emergency if you need new lippy or you're having a bad hair day.
Don't you love the names? Don't you love the names of the airlines? Olympic, Lufthansa,
USA's Incontinent. New Zealand, yes, New Zealand's Air New Zealand.
Let's not forget Italy's Alitalia.
And not forgetting QTARS.
There's QTARS now, looking pretty fabulous.
These are the ultimate trolley dollies, aren't they? And of course the famous song of Qantas. They've been to nightclubs that never close down and they still call Oxford Street home.
They still call Australia Collect.
Now here we have an Australian symbol, and I'm feeling you might be thinking this is a little bit of a waste of raw male sexuality.
I'm enjoying it, don't you, Lauren?
Are these the QTARS boys, or are they, oh no?
Now, these people are carrying walking frames, so I think that could be the American airline, because there is a little bit of a rumour that some of their attendants are a little in the older age bracket.
And passed away several years ago.
I'm seeing muscle definition that I can really enjoy.
They're the stewards from Qatar.
They can throw peanuts my way any day.
I like the new uniform, quite frankly.
The trolley stops here.
It's practical. It moves.
It's lightweight.
Although they have also become lifesavers, which is a tiny bit confusing, but I don't care.
Well, in fact, that's their main job description, isn't it, essentially?
And do you think their favourite bit of the safety demonstration is put this over your nose and mouth and breathe normally?
Acceptance. Now, these are the Catholics who are saying it's okay to be Catholic and also to be gay. And if only the Archbishop of the Catholics here in Sydney could say the same thing, but I'm afraid he's been giving us a different perspective.
Yes, unfortunately, it seems that Pope John Paul II's letter of support has been lost in the mail.
Yes, well, I'm here with Miss Gay Mez Glow, and she's apparently the official Olympics Games participant. Now, apparently your above half is New South Wales and the bottom half is the rest of the world. Is that right?
No, the top half's the world, and the bottom half, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Bottom half, it didn't actually work as we planned, so I've got a Australia fan, basically.
And the red bit, of course, is Sydney, which is where we are right now. Darling, do you like sport?
I love sport, yeah. It just goes to prove that gay people do and have participated in sport, and it's not just for for anybody, really.
Okay, well, thanks, darling. We're a sporting nation, and she, I don't know what event she's in, but she's having a good time.
Vanessa, it looks like she might be doing Run Like a Girl. I was the 12-year-old state champion. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to be down on the street.
Oh, well, we look forward to talking to you then.
Absolutely. The fun, the action continues as we continue with the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. See you in a minute.
Screen, the marvellous Daily Telegraph journalist Piers Ackerman, although
in the nutty,
he's not wearing very much. This man's famous for some extremely mean articles about the gay and lesbian, transgender, transsexual, bisexual community here in Sydney, and I think a little bit of nudie revenge is going on.
Oh, look, sodomites. This is a group. I mean, let's face it, if you were appalled at the idea that Vegemite was owned by an overseas company, you'll be appalled all over again at this. Oh, dear.
It might be a little bit tricky if you are watching. The jars do look a little different from the ones in your kitchen, but watch them very closely.
Keep the lids on those, I think.
Yeah, the sodomites are evidently responding to a suggestion by Dick Smith, the great entrepreneur, that we should have a spread of our own here in Australia, not owned by a foreign multinational. But whether people wish to go that far, Amanda, I'll leave it to the individual discretion of the Aussie family.
Oh, Dusty, darling. Dusty Springfield, of course, passed away last year. She was a huge icon with the gay and lesbian community. I think we've got a couple of tributes to her tonight. This is one of my favourites. The Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Marching Girls. Tonight, the marching Melissa Etheridges, and their microphones there are turkey basters. Turkey baster, for those that don't know, is a form of fertilisation, I guess.
It's one way of getting pregnant with the help of a very friendly chap.
Yes, an artificial insemination.
And rather than perhaps basting your turkey, you might do something else with it. And Melissa Etheridge, of course, used a sperm donor, one of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
yes,
David Crosby,
David
to have a baby.
And it's an unusual choice. I mean, he's bloated, he's drug-addled, he's been around for 100 years, but look, good on her. She's got two lovely children.
I'm a great fan of David Crosby.
Maybe they look more like turkey basters, those clear invisible bodies and big rubber heads.
Now, 2010, of course, is the postcode of Darlinghurst, and 2010 is the only gay and lesbian youth service across Australia, which is actually a great tragedy because a lot of young people have difficulties at home when they have homosexual feelings and can find themselves on the street. And a group of social workers here in Darlinghurst started this youth service for homeless kids, and they've got a refuge and a whole lot of other support services. I think there's a bunch of the kids are there, and some of them are social workers, so hard to tell the difference.
Makes you feel old, Julie?
Oh, I love 2010 because they really do a top job.
Can you believe who is watching the parade the gorgeous Ewan McGregor. Hello. You're here doing Moulin Rouge, the new Baz Luhrmann film. How's it going?
Absolutely fantastic. The shooting's going terribly well and we're all very happy.
That's wonderful. And that's what they all say, but in this case, I think it's true.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What do you think of this?
It's difficult to know what to say when that's going on behind you, you know. Never seen anything like that in my life. It's fantastic.
They can't believe, these people, I can't believe I'm with Ewan McGregor, and quite frankly, I can't believe it either. And Ewan, you got a bit of a sort of an Egyptian thing.
Yeah. But more importantly, this doesn't happen in London or anywhere I've been. And it happens in Sydney, and it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? Positive atmosphere. I'm having a ball.
Thank you so much.
Gee, and I bet he's envious of Bob's tracksuit top as well. This is Scheme and Afloat. Now, this is a group of friends who go water skiing on the Hawkesbury, and I like this bit. They go every other Sunday, weather permitting. And fair enough.
The Hawkesbury, of course, be a very big river near Sydney, and evidently they're pretty girly and they scream a lot, but they say everybody helps them on the Hawkesbury River, and we'd like to thank all the viewers from the Hawkesbury for being nice to Scheme and Afloat.
I hope they've waited an hour since they've eaten, Julie. That's all I can say. This is the drag queen Atlanta, Georgia on the front there. Gee, look at all those feathers. I think they've collected some ducks along the way. I think the boat has a water cannon and a ballast filled with water so they can spray the crowd to cool them down. So they're doing everyone a big favour tonight.
Here we have the Bears. Now, this is a group of men. They're big, they're hairy, they're strong, and they're proud.
Well, that's right. The image we often have of gay beauty is waxed, smooth and young, and that's obviously not everyone's choice. The Bears like them big and hairy.
And they appear to like paws as well. That's their bear flag with a great big... Ooh, there's a big bear and a little cub.
Unlike Humphrey B. Bear, they've kept their pants on tonight.
Thank goodness.
Wouldn't you like to put your pyjamas in them and put them on the end of the bed?
We're going to hear from a bear, I think, a great big bear right now.
The bears are here from around Australia and the world in what's probably the furriest and the cuddliest entry in the parade tonight. We're here to demonstrate that the old, the young, the fat, the thin, the tall, the short and the furry are proud members of the Sydney gay and lesbian community.
I have to say, I appreciate that reference to all different body images because a frenzy of dieting and waxing sweeps Sydney just before Mardi Gras. So I don't mind seeing a bit of bulk and fur.
Well, fair enough. I think Vanessa's with a bear. I hope she keeps her hands off him.
Yes, look, here I am, of course, with the Bears, and I'm next to a very hairy one, and I feel very comfortable because I'm hairy too. What is it about bears?
We're all big and hairy, and we've got the attitude to go with it as well.
Well, that's right, because we're so used to people who are buffed, plucked and shaved. It's really not on, is it?
No.
Hair is the way to go for the Norths, isn't it?
We're proud to be hairy.
And so am I. More hair to you.
Happy Mardi Gras.
I'm sorry, Amanda, but I saw a distinctly non-hairy bear a moment ago.
You think there's a ring in?
I think there's a deviant non-fur bear that slipped himself into the bears. And yet he was getting a bit of a cuddle.
I think they're hugging people along the way. Good to get them at the beginning of the route before it gets a bit, shall we say, perspirational.
I must say, if you saw that chap in your supermarket with his trolley, you wouldn't immediately think homosexual.
But I guess that's the point. The homosexuals are all part of our community. Lesbians, they're our friends, they're our neighbours, they're our shop assistants. And look, can I say, I think this is the fabulous...
I think we've come to the Farrah Fawcett's.
Ode to Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, I love this.
Tell you what, this is only slightly more bizarre than Farrah's last Playboy spread.
They've got chocolate Farrahs, vanilla Farrahs, glamour Farrahs, rehab Farrahs, the complete Farrah Fawcett experience.
Yes, well, look, they were the sluts for Jesus. They are the VIP bikini babes. I'm totally confused. I'm surrounded by Farrah Fawcett. Girls, how are you all feeling? More hair than you could poke a stick at. Oh.
This is Homosphere New Caledonia. This is a group of lesbians and gays from New Caledonia. It's their first time in the parade, so welcome. Yes, their heads are supposed to spell out Homosphere, but maybe the excitement of the dance got too much for them. Alphabet soup.
Evidently, New Caledonia is an extremely positive place to be gay or lesbian. There's, you know, a recognition of same-sex unions in the French country, and this is a great... They look like they're utterly accepted by their own community.
Behind me, a historic group I believe this is maybe one of the first times that a Jewish gay group has marched in the parade. And look at them. They are out in force. Jewish, gay and lesbians here tonight in Sydney.
Yes, on the truck is a lesbian rabbi, Rabbi Ariel Friedlander. I don't think there's many of those in the world.
Well, she's come from Virginia in the United States, where she's evidently supported by two groups, two synagogues. And this is the largest gathering with a motorised float of Jewish people in the Mardi Gras ever. And there is quite a bit of support in many parts of the Jewish tradition for this kind of diversity and for same-sex relationships.
And there are Jewish gays and lesbians on this float from Sydney, from Melbourne, from Perth, London, San Francisco, Sweden, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, New Jersey and Johannesburg. So it's a biggie.
They have enormous emotional passion for this because of the dual history. During the Nazi period, of course, not only were 6 million Jews killed, but also homosexuals were taken to the camps. Dawn Cohen is a representative of this group.
Jewish people and gay and lesbian people have contributed so much to the world, and that contribution largely goes unrecognised. Tonight we're bringing both our identities together. We're celebrating and we're inviting the world to celebrate with us.
Dawn Cohen, clearly thrilled to have such a big contingent here at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras 2000.
What do you call a female rabbi? Is it a rabbit? A rabbina? A lucky lady? Fair enough.
It is great to have the Star of David having such prominence. Queer Irish, we're running our way through great sources of cultural comedy. Here we have the Queer Irish. They've marched many times before, but tonight their theme is Angela's Lashes, taking from Angela's Ashes, of course, the book that's been a bestseller all over the world.
Yes, in the past they've been Michael Fatlegs and the Lords of the Prance, Lords of the Punts just as well, I think. But here they are. Here's Angela's Lashes. Look, you get RSI putting mascara on all of those, wouldn't you? I knew someone would have an eye out.
This is one time when all Irish people have got a unified theme, Northern and Southern Irish people, all under the Queer Irish flag.
That's right. And they've coordinated their outfits with their eyeballs, and I think that's the ultimate in accessorising, don't you, Julie?
Evidently they have a huge harbour cruise every year to raise money to make their great big eyeballs for Mardi Gras. The exact connection between the Irish and eyelashes, oh, of course, that's right.
Angela's Lashes, instead of Angela's Ashes, which was the book by Frank McCall.
Look, to be perfectly honest, because of where we are, I was expecting a few whips to be flying around, but this is a rather gentle.
Are you disappointed?
I'm sure there'll be some later. Again, another country, the island, with a great, obvious Catholic tradition, and not always a lot of pats on the back for being gay and lesbian, so a sense of real excitement among the Queer Irish from the Australian communities.
This is another tribute to Dusty Springfield.
The White Queen of Soul.
Oh, yes. And we've got a whole selection of Dusty Springfields. We've got Busty Springfield, Musty Springfield, Dusky Springfield, Shanghai Springfield, Lust in the Dusty Springfield, and my favourite, Slim Dusty Springfield. Wouldn't she have been thrilled with this? What an accolade.
Her music we've adored for years, we've adored for years, at last getting a tribute in the Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras.
Oh, look, here are the Melbourne Marching Boys, and this is Hats Off to Molly. Molly, of course, is Molly Meldrum, and there he is, having a groove. Oh, what's he got to say?
Raw sexual energy.
Well, I must say I'm very honoured by the Melbourne Marching Boys to be represented as Hats Off to Molly this year. I thought it was a joke at the start, but then I went to the rehearsals, and with their discipline, I tell you what, I had to pull myself together. No, I am so proud to be part of Mardi Gras. Have a great night.
Have you seen that float is decorated with a lot of old albums? Finally, a clever use for an entire collection of pseudo-echo albums. Should have brought mine along.
The Melbourne Marching Boys march, of course, at the Midsummer Parade down in Melbourne. Another great big gay and lesbian event, but they seem pleased to be up here in Sydney tonight. And there's the giant Molly hat.
Oh, they've gone to a lot of work. They love Molly. This is a tribute to the wonderful support he gives the Australian music industry, and of course he is such a Melbourne icon. To be a Melbourne Marching Boy, they say you need sensible shoes. Though maybe sensible shoes tonight is anything less than 6 inches with a heel, I don't know, and a great big smile.
Bob, I think, has met another Molly.
Oh, I certainly am, from one Molly to another. Molly Ringwald, pretty in pink. the star of a film called Cut, which has opened last week here in Australia.
So March 2nd, yeah.
Oh, how are you?
Great.
Your first time?
Yeah, first time at the Mardi Gras.
What do you make of this? You would have been to the New York Gay Pride, of course.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Gay Pride and the Halloween all mixed in together.
With a little bit of the Macy's parade.
That's right.
Well, yeah, you worked with Kylie in a film.
In Cut. Yeah, she's in Cut. She does a cameo in it.
And how was it working with our gay icon?
She's wonderful. She's really nice, really cute, very petite.
Yeah. And what do you make of all of this? I mean, how do you see the combination of the humour and the politics?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great way to get a political message across. It's always good to get it through with a lot of humour, I think.
Yeah. What else have we got behind us, girls?
Oh, this is the Order of Perpetual Indulgence. Have you seen the beautifully coloured nuns? This float was conceived by Mother Desmond 33, and we also have this evening Sister Carmen Geddes, Sister Oscar Raving Wild, Sister Rowena Keeper of the Holy Doily, Sister Joan of Arc, Sister Mary Mother of Pearl, and Sister Mary Go Round. How beautiful. And sisters with a beard, I noticed.
And the Order of Perpetual Indulgence insists that they don't mock religion. In fact, they spend a lot of time at the hospice helping people who are living with HIV and AIDS. And I think Vanessa is having a close encounter of the third kind with a nun right now.
Look, I'm here with the Order of Perpetual Indulgence, of course, and one of them's holding a Teletubby. What's the significance of the Teletubby?
Well, he's just like everybody else. Loves a handbag and something purple, don't we all?
Look, they're just basically religious, and they're saying that you can do anything and have a good time as long as you don't hurt anybody.
You'd look good in a wimple, Vanessa. Aren't they fantastic? Look at all that. The glasses, the rosary beads, the flowing robes, the roar of the crowd.
And a sort of nun-like sincerity in their expression.
There's a glitter nun. I knew if I dreamt long enough it would be true. These are the handmaids of perpetual religion. These are an order of nuns dedicated to the service of the Mother Abyss of the Order of Perpetual Indulgence. So personal devotion can take the form of driving Mother Abyss around town, she doesn't own a car, or giving her a meal and an occasional glass of wine. Doesn't sound too tough.
And they also create artworks like little pencil cases for the nuns and little plaques. Sort of a craft work for the gay and lesbian community. Princess of Dream. We've moved now to Thailand, and a group of people who are really wanting to promote a diverse representation of Thai culture.
We've got people in lap-laps, covering their little lap-laps, doing a dance.
Covering their little lap-laps.
Just.
And I gather we've got friends of members of the local Thai community as well. They seem to be taking their lap-laps off and wiggling them on their bottoms.
Oh, it must be windy. Their outfits have come off. The crowd doesn't seem to mind.
Oh, here we have the New South Wales Police Service, the gay and lesbian liaison officers.
This is one of my favourite parts of the gay and lesbian parade. They get such a cheer when they line up. Look at that. The crowd just love having them here, and it's such a buzz for them too, because they don't always get pats on the back from the crowd.
There was one officer appointed in 1985, and now there are 140 New South Wales police who have a role as liaison officers with the gay and lesbian community.
Look, they're the they're the New South Wales Police Service, and I've got one right here. They're here to protect us and to be good. What's it like to be in the parade tonight?
Wonderful. Excellent.
Congratulations, and keep on helping people out.
Thank you.
Oh, I've got a warm, cushy feeling.
The only downside, of course, of having the police is that their strict dress code makes it hard for them to accessorise with flair. But I think they're doing their best.
And Jodie Baird, Constable Jodie Baird, has taught them how to twirl and march. And she evidently is a professional marcher, and her mum is marching down there as well.
She'd be proud of them today. They're doing a very nice job. As you can see behind us, there's plenty more to come, so don't go away. You're watching the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. Back soon.
Welcome back to the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. I think you can see behind me, it's a sporty event. Well, I know a lot about sport. I've got my trackie on. It's Hookta. It's the Touch Football Association, a group of gay touch footballers who meet up as a social event. And as you can see, some of the moves are highly, highly unorthodox. Don't you think, girls?
They always hold the scrum just a little too long, don't they? I tell you what, though, it'd be fun being on a plane with a team of gay footballers. Instead of getting drunk, they'd be up the back getting shopping tips from flight attendants.
Those touch footballers might like you to grab them, Bob.
That's right.
Oh, look, I'm ready to tackle. I'm ready to tackle. I just need the word.
You could be a touch judge tonight.
I could. Oh, every time that music goes past, my head splits in two. But you know what? I kind of like it.
This is also a group that wouldn't wreck the hotel rooms when they're on tour because they just rearrange the furniture to create a feeling of space.
That's right.
Yes, this is a gay and lesbian touch football club. I don't think I've seen a girl there yet. But I certainly have seen a few Rabbitoh supporters with their ears on. A decade of Diva coming up now.
Yes, Diva is the Drag Industry Variety Awards. This is an awards night that recognises and rewards drag and related entertainers. And the year 2000 is its 10th anniversary. So, oh, look at the beautiful looks we're seeing here. What a relief. I was going to wear that outfit tonight. Katie said it was a one-off.
Marching drags, I understand some of them are virgin drags. Their very first night. Well, I can't pick the first timers.
No. It's a long parade route too, isn't it? I mean, they might start out very well in the heels, but it's a long way to go. It's an hour and 13 minutes for them from beginning to end. And the participants are supposed to walk 32 metres per minute. So I hope someone's measuring as they go.
There is a full drag medical team at the end of the march. A lot of slingback repairs are occurring, a lot of feet replacement.
And something I found interesting was that St John's Ambulance has put together a little brochure for the people tonight, telling them what happens if you get an ankle sprain from your platform shoes, how to keep your fluids up, a first aid for fingernails, and if you get a false eyelash or glitter in your eye, it tells you what to do. So I think that's very good practical advice on a night like this.
There were some people in the gay and lesbian community who were a little upset when we moved from a protest movement about political issues to a celebration, but I have to say the drag queens get the biggest response from the crowd every time. Men behave badly sometimes, and I understand Bob is all too aware of that at the moment.
Oh, girls, I'm the rose between two thorns here, quite frankly. That includes Neil Morrissey. The men behaving badly, boys. Hello.
Bless you, Bob. How are you?
I'm great. Well, what do you think?
I think bless you, Australia, even if you didn't sneeze.
You guys are making a documentary out here for the BBC called Men Down Under. I featured in it as a typical example of Australian manhood. What's your connection here tonight?
Well, this is just to put a little ribbon on the dressing of the parcel that is the Australian beautiful man.
Thank you very much.
I mean, it wouldn't be the same with that little lace fringe, would it?
It wouldn't. Now, behind us, boys, I don't know if you know, have you heard of a group called Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays?
Yes.
It's a very, very important group. They often get the biggest cheer from the crowd, and they're going behind us now.
No, they're going behind us. Yeah, they're great. Oh, lovely. But the whole thing's fantastic. It's so wild and fun and freaky.
Yeah.
The ladies in green have the more modern naked breasts here, you'll notice.
Are you trying to tell me that you've enjoyed the odd side of titty?
Well, we've got a nipple in any shape or form. It's always good fun to see at an evening.
That's what we tried to provide in Mardi Gras here in Sydney. Something for everyone.
This part of the parade.
Well, listen, I'm glad you wore your shell suit tonight. It's really good. Honestly, I thought I was the most daddily post dressed here.
You've got a bit of glitter on your face.
I know, mate, when I was helping with the wigs.
Have you been licked by a few drag queens?
I think I have, yeah. I've certainly had a few close brushes.
Thanks a lot, boys.
What we have here is Children of the Rainbow. This is a really important float. This is Children of the Parade, and it's a different perspective on the issue. This is an entry organised by 3 children who wanted a presence in the parade for the children and families of queer parents. It's quite a different perspective. So there's 20 or 30 people walking today. These are children of lesbian and gay people and a sprinkling of mums and dads, and the ages range from 4 months up to 16.
They've also got some famous mums in there like Marge Simpson, Adina from AbFab, Mother Nature, and I understand a few dads in drag.
Excellent work.
And the kids are hoping to start a social club so they can mix with a whole lot of other kids who've got gay and lesbian parents. Though I must say, more and more schools around Australia have got used to the P&C having multiple mums and multiple dads of various kinds. I can see Noddy there, and Noddy's always welcome at a gay and lesbian event.
I saw and his friend Biggies. Oh, Vanessa's with Noddy. Lucky old thing.
No, I'm not with Noddy. I'm with Children of the Rainbow, and I'm here with Marge and
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl. Now, what is it about your float?
It's about gay children and gay families and being as a gay family within the gay community.
Great. And Marge, you?
Being in the float as a parent, with a lesbian parent with a child. The kids are really proud to be part of the lesbian and gay community as well, and that's what we want to show everybody.
Great. Well, the point is, it doesn't matter who you're brought up by, as long as they look after you and respect you, don't you think?
Oh, my 4 fingers after all.
There we go. We've all got 4 fingers. Chookers. Happy Mardi Gras.
I think we could be seeing Brides of Mardi Gras here, or am I making that up?
Whatever we're seeing, there's a very small child having a very long walk.
Yes, it'll all end in tears by the end of the parade.
She still looks happy at this stage, though. More and more gay and lesbian people, of course, are having children. There's almost a lesbian baby boom going on across the country. So I guess more and more kids are going to be there.
What we're seeing now is celebration of unity. Excuse me. This is all about raw primal elements. There's earth, fire, water, and air.
It's good to see a kind of conceptual hippie representation here at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. We're moving to a fitness image. These girls certainly look fit. They appear to be emerging from a giant lotus.
And who can blame them?
Always good, of course, to see high heels with a scanty costume. The very essence. In a way, you can see
Saturday night at your place at home, Jules.
Oh, that's right. More about erotic dancing that doesn't always please our church leaders and yet does somehow please the crowd.
It's, you know,
we're coming up to pause. I think we're coming up to pause, and this is a fantastic group because many people who are living with HIV and AIDS or have sickness of other kinds can't look after their pets. And so there's a group that just looks after the pets of people who are living with HIV and AIDS. I think we're looking at a giant dog right now.
Yes, I think it's from 101 Dalmatians. I hope it looks after itself when they get excited. You know what they do to the pavement? You just have to hit it on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper.
This is a group that began in the United States but has really taken off big here in Australia as well. The Gay and Lesbian Veterinarian Association appearing in the Mardi Gras for the very first time. I gather there's something like 50 vets across the country who've joined their association.
And no wonder that dog's looking nervous. Have you seen the size of the instruments there? Kind of prodding it with. Fireworks are going off. It's all happening here. These are fitness stars of the new millennium. Oh, look, Sydney skies are ablaze. How beautiful. This is completely exhausting. Fireworks are behind us. It just sounds fantastic. I can feel them from here. There's so much more to come, so please stay with us. Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras will be back soon.
Welcome back to the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. Top spunk value beside me, Alex Dimitriades.
Yeah! Woohoo!
So you're having a lousy time?
Yeah, it sucks.
Last time I saw you, well, we were judging.
Nude surfing!
We weren't nude surfing, although...
we got a nude street parade! Woohoo!
Oh, absolutely. We were judging the nude surfing at the Sydney Bondi Festival, and then you saw it on TV.
I know, I just saw it on TV recently. Up in Brisbane.
Now, what are you doing at the moment? Everybody wants to know what you are doing, inquiring minds.
I'm watching the parade, having a ball. What are you doing?
Work-wise?
Work-wise. It's all about work.
Yeah.
This is work.
You're shooting a new film.
Yeah.
A feature?
No, it's a telemovie. It's for 10, actually. My mates are 10.
The Entertainment Network.
Of course. Yeah. What about it?
Well, is it a good movie? Have you got the lead role?
It's myself, Matt Day, and Nadine Garner in the leads.
Wow.
And John Ruane is directing it, and it's called The Love of Lionel's Life. And,
do you know, by the way, what a star you are in the gay community after Head On?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, yeah.
He's embarrassed, girls. He's embarrassed.
Alex Dimitriades, what a horn bag. Welcome any time on this parade route.
It's quite spooky seeing Jenny George float past Alex's head. But we've moved to Girl Beat. Now, this is another classic lesbian tendency, a desire to beat drums very loudly. And this is a group of mountain women from the Blue Mountains of Sydney. I understand all of the three sisters are lesbians for the purpose of February in Sydney.
And fair enough. This is the first parade entry from a group of women drummers. Karen Carpenter would be thrilled. The nationalities include French, English, South African and Australian, and the aim was to gather together a group of lesbian drummers and showcase and promote women's drumming in the lesbian and gay community.
They just put an ad in a little magazine called Lesbians on the Loose, wanting drummers. Evidently, they had to turn hundreds of women away. They just came with saucepans and wooden spoons, making as much noise as they could. It's quite normal at gay and lesbian events for women to just appear with large drums and start beating them.
Is there some historical tradition?
It must be. I just think if you see any of your daughters starting to whack things with wooden spoons, I just look at them a little bit more closely. The Greens. Now, this is another group supporting every possible variety of sexual preference. And I think they've also got representatives from a whole lot of political movements here as well.
The special guest on the float is Green MP from Western Australia, Giz Watson. She's Australia's first and only out lesbian parliamentarian. On the back of this float, they are actually dismembering a car because they're saying, hey, let's walk, let's ride bikes, let's roller skate, let's skateboard, let's tread more lightly on the earth. And the car being dismembered belongs to the flatmate of one of the float participants, and I wonder if she knows.
And there are a couple of upper house members of the New South Wales Parliament who are Greens as well, Ian Cohen and Lee Ryan. And I think Bob Brown has sent support. Vanessa, I think, is perhaps hugging a tree or grappling with a green as we speak.
All right, look, I'm here with the queer Greens, and we all know that it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. It's important to keep greenery in your life because we need it to breathe, don't we?
Absolutely, that's right.
And also, we don't need to be in cars, we need to be in scooters. So get off this and I'm out of here.
She won't get far in that outfit, let's face it.
I'm not quite sure why the Greens have got a pirate, but that's one hell of a good-looking pirate on there.
I wonder if that's what pirates watch as a medical drama. Now, independence for you. Is that what that's saying?
Oh, Clover Moore and David Barr.
Yes, these are
local independent politicians.
That's right. And they've always supported the gay and lesbian community. Clover, particularly, is always represented in the parade here.
And she got a haircut a couple of years ago that just made her fit in that much better. Have you noticed?
I'm sure she'd be thrilled to hear.
I think we've got some Democrats peeking up on us as well.
Stott Despoja there.
The Australian Democrats have got a group called Carter Network, which is in memory of Chris Carter, who was the first openly gay person to work in Parliament. And a bundle of Australian Democrats, including the Deputy Leader Natasha Stott Despoja, are with the group tonight. Going back there, though, to Clover Moore.
And David Barr. He's the one in the fluoro shirt.
A bunch of their supporters. Clover, I guess, was a supporter of gay and lesbian issues when a lot of other people weren't. So there's a tremendous respect for her.
Someone else who's watching the parade tonight is Rachel Griffiths, and she's with Bob.
Speaking of respect, an Oscar nominee is standing next to me right now. And what's fabulous that she happens to be a friend of mine as well. How are you, Rachel, baby?
Indeed. Oh,
as we say in Sydney, happy Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. I just came in yesterday and I am so happy to be here, and it's just great to see Sydney turning this out. And, oh, God.
Where'd you fly in from, the coast?
No, from Los Angeles.
She's flown in from the coast.
I was doing a film with Johnny Depp, but I'm so glad.
Johnny Depp. What a top spunk he is.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, you have got a film of your own.
I did a little short last year, which, woo!
Just going to take a dance break for a sec here. Yes.
Yeah, so I did this short last year, which it's played, it got Best Film at Palm Springs, and it's just been on here on the ABC. It was really great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's so fabulous as what's happening here.
Is this your first parade?
It's my first parade in any position that I can see it.
Oh, right.
I've been to 3 parades, and I've mostly just been kind of lost in people's feather boas.
Absolutely, because let's face it, who can afford the price they charge for those milk crates?
I mean, you have to get an Oscar nomination to get in here, you know?
Thanks a lot for coming, Rachel. Back to the girls. I'm just gonna hobnob with the stars.
On your Rach.
A very simple idea for getting a good seat at Mardi Gras. You simply get an Oscar nomination.
I'm thinking of that next year. Wish me luck.
The New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Board has been marching with the parade for many, many years. This is obviously a state organisation enormously concerned to get equal rights for gay and lesbian people. Still quite a few issues to go. Here we have the Coalition of Active Lesbians, who are the only UN-recognised lesbian group. And the reason they got started was there was a major UN conference about women's issues in Beijing a few years back, and they wouldn't let, or they tried to stop lesbians being represented at all. So COAL got started, the Coalition of Active Lesbians, and this is the only group that the federal government in Australia officially talked to about lesbian issues.
And they're marching tonight under the banner, Lesbians' Rights Are Human Rights.
They try to get the UN conventions to take into account those countries around the world where you can still be jailed or even executed for having a same-sex relationship. And of course, Amnesty is another international organisation enormously involved in human rights. They tell us that there are 6 countries in the world where you can be executed for same-sex relationships.
The walkers are wearing human rights defender superhero T-shirts, which they see as an nice summation of Amnesty's role in protecting the human rights of lesbian and gay people all around the world.
Amnesty only recognised a mandate for gay and lesbian people so they could take up issues for gay and lesbian people locked up around the world in 1991, even though they'd been in action since 1961. So change is still happening, big change is still happening.
They're carrying signs here, killed for love, imprisoned for love, tortured for love.
The human rights defender T-shirts looking pretty fierce.
Oh, they're in prison. Let them go, you mugs. Can't they see? Look, they're in prison.
She's wearing
behind
wings.
you. They're
You'd
behind
think she'd be able to fly out of the cage.
Oh, some people don't learn, Julie.
We're moving now, I think, to Leather Pride.
Yes.
The Leather Pride Association, a group of people who are that enthusiastic about leather, Amanda.
Yes, you never see leatherette pride or flannelette pride. Leather's quite special. Someone here is being tied up in a web and being tortured, but I think he likes it. So it says that they're having fun with electro-play. I'm not sure what that is, but let's find out some more from Craig Gloy.
Sydney Leather Pride always takes part in the Mardi Gras Parade, as it's the time of year when we can get together with the leather community from Australia and overseas and do in public what we can normally only do in private.
And I thought running with scissors was racy.
I think there's a reason why an oxygen mask is being worn by that person who appears to be hung up at the moment.
I've got to get out more. How unlike the home life of our own dear Queen.
This is actually a very interesting childcare system. You know, if you've got the kiddies running around, get a few bits of large rope, cover them in some Perkins paste and just fling the kiddies up against the spider's web.
I think we should remind people that these people we're seeing now are professionals. Please don't try this at home.
People have come from Dubai, Germany, France, Singapore.
I bet they have.
And indeed Brisbane. enormously pleased to see the Boot Company of Brisbane coming up Oxford Street here at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras.
This is a social group for men who are into leather and uniforms.
It must get hot and clammy up there in the tropics.
You would think so. Maybe they're cut away at the back. I mean, a bit of chaps work might be at play here. Yes, the
not
Boot
a
Company.
big group, but they're a firm and leathery group.
They say they raise a few $1,000s every year through raffles and slave auctions. And in fact, Mr. Queensland Leather Boy was auctioned for only $8.50. I could get him to come and do my gutters for that. I think we're seeing a penis there, Julie. You've been very discreet in not mentioning it.
Actually, that little penis appears...
That little penis?
In every Mardi Gras.
Oh, this is the headquarters on Crown, which is a sex-on-premises venue, and they like the idea of Thomas the Tank Engine with a twist, as we can see. Yes, he's working up ahead of Steve.
Girls, I'm very honoured here. Someone who has just told me that he's never been in Australia before. He's only been here for 6 hours. And could have he chosen a better moment? Hello to Sir Ian McKellen.
Hello dear. Is it always like this on a Saturday night?
That's just your average Saturday night.
Well, I've got to come back more often. And look what I got. Tonga, some frangipane. Smell that. Isn't that gorgeous?
That is absolutely lovely. I tell you what, my allergic reaction will kick in about 5 minutes, and we'll need, luckily the ambulances are here in port. Now, you are working in New Zealand at the moment.
Yes, along with a lot of other actors. I'm doing Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's a great novel, which has been turning into a 3-part movie.
A 3-part film, that's absolutely amazing.
But this, frankly, is more exciting than Lord of the Rings to me.
Now, Ian, you have a connection to the gay cause. You are, of course, involved heavily with Stonewall in Britain. Can you just explain to our viewers what Stonewall's about?
Well, Stonewall was founded 10 years ago to do what you try and do here, to amend the laws which disadvantage gays and lesbians, and we've had quite a few successes since Tony Blair came in. But we don't have anything like this. We're just not liberated enough, I guess. It's just fabulous.
But I think you have the right to sing the praise of the fact that you've just succeeded in equaling the age of consent in Britain.
Well, that's true. Yes, we have, and we've got gays in the military as well.
Can you keep it down, please? We're actually talking here. Ian, thank you so much. Have a fantastic time, and we hope to see you in Sydney a lot more.
Have a lovely evening.
Well,
I'm very pleased to say that we've got equal age of consent in Tasmania under their new government there, but in many states across Australia there is still a higher age of consent for heterosexuals than there is for gay men. Something we really, really want to change.
These are the Latin American gays, lesbians and their friends.
Enormous gay and lesbian, transgender Latin American community here in Australia.
Yeah, and they want to represent the diversity and the multicultural nature of the Latin American gay and lesbian community.
And I think that Rio
Ricky
Field...
Martin, hello. As they say, Carnivale is part of the culture, so they're bringing it to Sydney to celebrate that. And they also want the world to see beyond the colourful costumes and focus some attention on the difficulties that's faced by some of these people in Latin America with HIV/AIDS and just general human rights issues.
Dorothy and friends and the ruby slippers have just come past us then. Magnificent slippers. We met one of the men making those slippers down at the Mardi Gras workshop the other day, and it was a very heavy slipper.
Big red spangly shoes. I knew that Ronald McDonald would come out eventually.
There are people getting blisters walking up Oxford Street tonight who could have an exciting experience. There we see the couple together, masking their physical appearance, but you can see the shoe, and that's all that matters.
Oh, they're clicking the heels together and saying, we're not in Kansas anymore. Vanessa's somewhere down there with someone exciting.
Well, she's our Antipodean heroine, actually, not our hero, Miss New Zealand. She's here every year. What have you noticed this year at the parade that's special?
Lovely diversity of women this year, I think, you know, and then you can't have chicken every night.
And what about the costuming in general? Do you love it?
It's beautiful. I love it.
Say hello to Rotorua for me, will you, darling?
Tenakure.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Miss New Zealand, I think she hitched a ride over on Dick Smith's balloon.
What I love about Miss New Zealand is she is so anarchic, she doesn't even apply to be in the parade. Everyone else has had to fill in a long form, but not Miss New Zealand. She just turns up looking glamorous.
Does this image remind you of something? This is an entry from the Gym Link Broadway and the Ultimate Gym, and it's Cher and that very famous film clip, If I Could Turn Back Time, when she wore a piece of masking tape and straddled a cannon. And of course she still wants to turn back time, but this time she's using surgery.
These gyms claim that a properly maintained exercise routine can reverse the ageing process, and that's the kind of authenticity and approach to truth we always have here in the gay and lesbian transgender community. Yes, those people are actually about 120, but through going regularly to gym and twirling small hats, they've achieved a much more youthful experience, and they've got to ride on a torpedo. More sailors and reversing the ageing process. You stick with us.
To the 2000 Sydney Gay Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. I am feeling like a macho man. Look who I've got. It's Felipe from the Village People.
How are you?
Oh,
You're looking great.
I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed every year, but this is the tops.
You guys have just done a sellout tour with Boy George.
Entire country. Started out in Singapore, and George amazes us. This time he was the entire culture club was on top of it.
And Felipe, I think you're going to be very pleased at what's coming up behind him.
Oh no! What is that? You can't stop the music.
Sydney Gay and Lesbian Choir are doing their tribute to the Village People.
Hey guys!
Go on, Felipe, just go for it. Go for it.
A real village person, what a treat. And what perfect timing that there's a float to him. What an accolade. This is You Can't Stop the Music, the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Choir.
This is a huge choir who perform all over Australia, and indeed they've travelled internationally, and they've won several major choir competitions, although there were people who found their name a little challenging, but they've won the competitions on the power and value of their singing.
But aren't the Village People amazing? And the fact that their songs are so enduring. I mean, let's face it, they didn't have album after album after album, and yet the songs still hang around and are such a little pocket of their time.
One of the choir members tonight, Kate Deacon, is sitting in the truck because she's preggers, and this will be the first child born to the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Choir. Just another pregnant lesbian. I tell you, they're as common as... Well, I don't know what to say, but there's a lot of them.
She didn't find a Melissa Etheridge turkey baster backstage.
Let me put it this way, Amanda. There isn't a lesbian in Sydney that hasn't opened her legs to a gynaecologist.
I'm leaving that one alone.
These choir are going to perform at the 2002 Gay Games in Sydney. They're very ready to perform at the Olympic Games should they be asked. Musical notes representing their passion for music. Vanessa's being very glad.
Well, look, they're glad to be gay, and who'd be glad to be drab? Girls, what does it take to be a glad rag bag girl?
It takes a lot of class.
What does it take from you?
Guts.
They are just a utilitarian household product into something spectacular for the night. Go girls, go girls.
Yes, that's a group that dresses up in glad bags every year. And in this heat, it'd be a great way to lose weight. Talk about flashing the plastic.
We're now moving into the segment of the parade that's dealing with people who are living with HIV, and also, of course, remembering people who've actually died of AIDS. Although the emphasis this year is very much on living for the future.
This is the Bobby Goldsmith Foundation, and they're waving around giant gas and electricity bills and microwaves and toasters, and that's because that's the kind of practical help they're giving to people living with HIV and AIDS in Sydney. They pay their bills, they look after the pets, they water the plants, they buy them a fridge if they need it. It's very, very practical assistance.
And Bobby Goldsmith was a sporting star and Albury Hotel barman who died of AIDS in 1983. He was one of the first men in Sydney to die of AIDS, and so he's remembered through this foundation. The Flame of Hope, I think, slipped past us a moment ago. Two guys dressed as the Flame of Hope. And of course what they're hoping for is a cure for AIDS and a light at the end of the tunnel. Many people now are focusing on living with HIV because the new medications are enabling people to live a lot longer and in a lot happier state. Although for some people it's still pretty tough. There's still poverty associated if you can't work full-time, and some people react badly to the large number of drugs that they have to use, but still a lot more hope in the community.
Well, look, if you don't know, I am a drag queen who's living with HIV and AIDS, and I've got some wonderful nurses here from Bobby Goldsmith Foundation, shortly known as VGF. What's it like working in the lesbian community, helping people out?
It's good because you're doing something worthwhile for people who really need it, and it makes you feel good about yourself.
Well, that's right, because we're in a world that doesn't really care about people, so it's people like you that make this world worthwhile. Thanks, girls. I'm still alive.
On you, Vanessa. More people here in the lineup of groups associated with living with HIV. This group focusing on forging a future for people living with AIDS in New South Wales in particular.
North AIDS is a community-based organisation on the North Shore which offers care and support to people living with HIV/AIDS. And the message we'd really like to get across is that HIV/AIDS is a major issue, not only in the city but everywhere.
This is the Luncheon Club Larder, and Bernard King is a wonderful patron of the Luncheon Club Larder. All the others tonight are the Little Bernadettes, they're calling themselves. This is a group that was founded in 1993, and it's a support group that runs the larder, and it supports more than 400 people living with HIV/AIDS. It provides free food and essential items. Bernard King's been involved with this group for 2 years.
Bernard King, of course, a famous chef, and the Luncheon Club, a really great example of a community helping each other in the most practical ways you can imagine.
They're inside a giant shopping trolley, and you know it's fake because it's not hitting the side of the road. Actually, the Luncheon Club has been closed down due to lack of funds. They're hoping to get some government funding, so they're hoping to be back after Easter with their regular Monday lunches. It costs about $60,000 a year to run, and they've been operating for the last 6 months just through donations. But as they say, they really need help. They need volunteers, they need food, they need money, because they can buy an enormous amount with just $1,500.
A great opportunity for them to promote their cause and the need for funding tonight.
I'm seeing Vikings, Julie.
I love to see a Viking, don't you?
I love a Viking. This is the Ankali Project. Ankali is the Aboriginal word for friendship, and it's a volunteer emotional support project providing emotional support for people living with or affected by HIV/AIDS. And I like the idea of the big Viking ship. I think this might have been actually the first Volvo, came from that part of the world. When it would run into other countries, it would hit very lightly and no one would be hurt.
Ankali started in 1985. They've got 140 clients now, 120 volunteers, still heavily reliant on volunteer support, as so many of these groups are. We've moved to the western suburbs, and that's good news for me because I spent a lot of time on the M4 heading west to the Blue Mountains myself.
This is the Haven in the Swim for 2000. The Western Suburbs Haven is a volunteer-run organisation. They have no paid staff. They have a wonderful woman called Pat Kennedy, who's often known as Nana Smurf, who does an enormous amount of work. She's a real unsung hero.
Oz, showbiz, cares, equity, fights AIDS. A bit of a legend of Australian theatre and television, the lovely Tracy Mann.
Oh, thank you, Bob Down. I'm very happy to be here.
Now, you raised a whole lot of money the other week in Melbourne with a huge prisoner benefit.
Yes, we had a reunion and we raised $35,000 for Positive Women Victoria, the Quilt Project in the Bovary Centre in Victoria. Fantastic.
And I hear the Freak was there, and as well as Bee.
She was. Bee's on the float now. And the Freak's in Melbourne, but it was a sensational meeting of all old friends and old actors and actresses. It was great.
What is it about Prisoner? It's swept the world. It's something to make us proud to be Australian. I think. Now, is this your first parade?
This is my first parade.
I expect you've probably been at Wentworth in Melbourne, haven't you?
Let me out, finally. Yeah.
That's not true. You said you live round the corner.
That's true, I do.
The rest of the time, she's constantly saying, keep that funny noise down.
Shut up. It's so wonderful to be here. But the Oz AIDS Care, the Oz Showbiz Care has raised over $200,000 for people living with AIDS. It's a fantastic charity.
That is so amazing. It makes you really proud to be in show business. when people work that
We've lost so
hard.
many dear friends who, with
We have.
HIV/AIDS, so it's a great privilege to be here tonight and to be a part of this.
When you think of the names, Bill Shanahan, John Hargraves, the list is endless. Girls, we can have a little cry here when we are old loved ones. Back to you.
Wonderful that we've been reminded too that many people living with HIV are indeed women, and great to see the prisoner mob gathering money for them.
They've got a big float tonight. They've even got the steam press on it. Someone's head always has to get jammed in the steam press.
We're coming to a party now, Amanda. This is the Community Support Network, again focusing on the enormous number of volunteers who are involved in supporting people with HIV in their homes, and they want to invite us to a great big party.
Yeah, and also this is a party for them. The carers work many hours a week. A lot of it volunteer. They're caring for people living with and affected by HIV/AIDS. They do shopping for them, cooking, cleaning. They're always searching for new volunteers, and they say they're a good bunch of people. So if you want to help out, they'd love to hear from you.
They give training as well. There are groups in the Hunter area, Illawarra and the Mid-North Coast, so it's something that moves beyond the urban areas of Sydney. Here we see the Hunter group now to the north of Sydney, around the Newcastle area.
This is a float called Listen Up. This is a message from ACON, the AIDS Council of New South Wales. They have a huge mouth, as you can see, a couple of enormous eyes, but the bulk of the parade, the bulk of their float is made up with ears. As they say, listen up. Ears aren't just for jewellery, they say. The message is about listening to safe sex messages.
One of the unexpected upshots of the improvements in medication that are helping people live much longer now with HIV is that there's a concern that people might not take the safe sex message as seriously as before, and so the AIDS Council of New South Wales very much pushing the message, use those condoms at all times.
Do you think these are offcuts from Mr. Potato Head? You'd need a big potato, wouldn't you?
Also, I'm told that ACON felt that the ear was the only part of the human anatomy that hadn't been done properly at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras.
That's out for next year then.
Twirling dresses. Giant twirling dresses. If you could read my hands.
Yes, this is a float of 8 deaf and hearing impaired sing-signers. I haven't heard of sing-signers before, and they're sing-signing If You Could Read My Mind.
The Deaf, Lesbian and Gay Association always have a big presence in the Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras because there are huge numbers of gay and lesbian people in the deaf community. I have no understanding of why this is so, but some of the very first big public events to have deaf sign interpreters working with them was in the gay and lesbian community. This program is captioned because there are so many deaf people watching the parade.
The program tonight?
Yeah, program tonight.
They say they're celebrating their 10th anniversary of performing as sing-signers and interpreting for other deaf members at the Gay Mardi Gras party.
Auslan language, the language of the hands used by the deaf, is considered a completely separate and independent language, and it's a fantastic process too. I've emceed many events for the gay and lesbian community, including the launch at the Opera House a few weeks ago, and watching a deaf signer do oral sex is always a tremendously good experience. The Melbourne Marching Girls, the very first time we've had girls from that great state of Victoria.
They're paying homage to the original marching girls of the 50s and 60s, hence those cute little American outfits.
They welcome bisexual women of all shapes and sizes. Again, if you find yourself picking up sticks in your garden and twirling them, you could be having homosexual tendencies.
I think I'm yes on all counts you've given so far today.
Let's hear some more about these marching girls from Melbourne.
Yeah. Here's Vicky Jones and Robin Freestone.
It was Robin Freestone's idea to start a marching group this year, and she asked me if I would assist, and I promptly said yes. And I'd been the dyke on the bike before in Mardi Gras, and this time I wanted to march down Oxford Street with a bunch of women, and there's nothing like it.
Very interesting that she'd go from being a bike on dyke to a twirler. That would be a dyke on bike, I do beg your pardon.
What did you say? A bike on dyke?
I got a little bit confused about who was on the bottom and who was on the top.
Nice variation of the kangaroo on the bike for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Look, the skyline is alight. How wonderful. There's plenty more to come, so don't go away. Make a cup of tea, and that's all. You're watching the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. I'll be back in a tick.
Oh, to the strains of the unbelievably caftan Demis Roussos. Welcome back to the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. Well, I'm here with another major events organiser. You'll know him as an actor, you'll know him as a director, but people outside of Sydney may not know about Tropfest. John Paulson, will you tell us about Tropfest?
Yeah, it's a short film festival happened last weekend. It's always the weekend before Mardi Gras. And we had an enormous amount of people there last week, but not quite this many, I don't think.
Oh, John, by the way, sorry to interrupt you.
That's not me. That is not me. They're being cheeky up there in the OB van.
Oh, it somehow blasts Tropfest right out of our minds, didn't it? Now, John, you did Siam Sunset. Congratulations on that.
Thanks,
what are you working on at the moment?
I'm developing a couple of movies. I want to direct another movie in the later half of this year.
Is this your first Mardi Gras parade coming to see it?
No way. I come every year. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at this place. The stuff I've seen tonight, it's just an amazing celebration of free spirits.
John, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks, Bob.
Back to you, girl.
This next one's called Spice Up the World, and I'm so relieved it's not the Spice Girls, though I defy anyone to do the whole length of the parade in those shoes that Baby Spice wears.
18 to 65 is the age range on this Melbourne group, the premier lesbian and gay performance group. Note again that tendency to synchronise movement.
Last year this group did I Dream of Jeannie, and this year they've come out with Spice Up the World. They've been practising long and hard. Look at them shaking their maracas.
Sometimes think that the whole of the Western dancing movement with synchronised movement, line dancing, could be the beginning of a homosexual wave that's going to sweep the earth.
So no longer will we just dance around our handbags to not push city limits.
Well, I sometimes go out into the yard and dance in a synchronised fashion with my pets.
Happy boys and girls. Now, I love the idea of this one because every 2 minutes, someone from this group peels off, goes out to the crowd and hands out a story. They say that by writing their stories and giving the stories to the crowd and asking them to read them the next day, they're getting the crowd to consider the meaning of the parade once the glamour and the excitement has faded. Because everyone here tonight has a story about coming out, about being accepted or not being accepted, about loving somebody, and they want to share it with the people who've lined up to see them tonight.
Well, it's a fantastic idea. Oh, another girl who couldn't afford a top.
Well, there's some more Dalmatians.
I love this. We've got synchronised movement combined with animals. This is Tasmania's first-class bitches.
Yes, and they've used this title because they say you should see some of the behaviour that went on backstage surrounding costumes, music, choreography, etc. I can imagine.
A little echo there of Cruella de Vil, one of my favourite film characters, who of course has cut up a bunch of Dalmatians in order to make those rather scanty costumes.
Last year this group did the full Monica, and this year they're just mucking around. There are some mongrel puppies. There are Tasmanians living on the mainland, and the rest of them are pedigrees, still resident on the island.
Huge amount of law reform has taken place in Tasmania. In fact, Tasmania is a great example of how when you're struggling for law reform to get equality, don't be depressed if it takes a long time. They now have some of the best anti-discrimination laws in the country. An equal age of consent, something that hasn't been achieved in New South Wales, for example, let alone Western Australia, where there's a massive age difference. So these Tasmanians are looking pretty cheerful.
The theme of this float is about respecting your pets, and it acknowledges the importance of pets in our community. So give them a little tickle on the tummy as they come past.
They're emphasising that it's all fake fur, that no Dalmatians actually died in the making of this program.
This is the Tasmanian tiger, sighted at Mardi Gras. It's a Chinese dragon-style Tasmanian tiger, made from pink tulle. Obviously, that's why it's extinct. I've seen so much pink tulle tonight.
Tasmanian tiger, of course, used by the Tasmanian government to represent their nation, their state over and over again, and it's being used for the gay and lesbian community there right now.
Yeah, they say that it plays with the idea of survival, visibility and coming out. And it's a very cute tiger, may I say. Eyelashes to die for.
Tasmanian Gay and Lesbian Rights Lobby have made this tiger.
They were established in 1988. And they always get a warm, supportive response from the crowd. And the good thing about this tiger is it folds down neatly to be carried home.
Do you think we should worry that the Tasmanian tiger is actually extinct? Vanessa is in her element.
Look, I've got the costumers of Melbourne here. Melbourne's always been known as a very fashionable town, and these two lads are no exception. How are you feeling, Sydney?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm having a fantastic time. It's great atmosphere. I love it.
And have you got any boils or carbuncles from your outfits yet?
Oh, I've got a few sores on my feet now, that's for sure.
Well, if you don't hurt, you're not having a good time. Happy Mardi Gras. You too. Cheers to Melbourne.
Fantastic costume, fantastic costume.
This is No Pants Nats. This is from Maryborough in Queensland. And No Pants Nats is the nickname of the local Maryborough newspaper editor who is famed for a homophobic comment. They weren't very happy with him, so the organisers wanted to say that despite the horrible editor and a few redneck bigots, it's a very tolerant community, but they still wanted to have a go at him tonight. Fair enough.
Maryborough is 250 kilometres north of Brisbane, has 30,000 people, an astonishing number of them transgender. I feel like taking my pants off right now.
No pants, Julie. We still won't give you a float. Here is Look at this guy. This is the Sun Messenger. Now, I reckon that's not something he just had in the cupboard. What do you think? Let me see if I can just describe what we're seeing here. His chest is covered by an electronic sign that counts up from 1978 to 2000. That's the years that the Mardi Gras has occurred. He's got neon lights around his crotch. He's got strobe lights on his shoulders. His shoes have rainbow lights. Mechanical wings with neon and synchronised lights. This is the most extraordinary thing.
This man is serious about costume. He's been a major winner in the Mardi Gras competition for costume and also the sleazeball competition as well. Vanessa, I think, is getting very, very close.
Not too close, her hair's flammable.
Yes, well, I'm here in the 21st century, fireworks and all, and my God, look at this costume. What do you represent, darling?
Look, I am making history tonight. I am the first person ever to wear an electronic sign to transmit a message to a crowd and to the world at the same time. My message is an environmental message. You know, be conscious of the environment, of the impact you have on the environment wherever you go.
Oh, look at that. She's got a message. She's shiny, and I think I could swipe my credit card on her. Chookers, baby.
We're moving back to Brisbane again. Another Brisbane representative in the march, Brisbane Unmasked.
Yes, they've set up a masquerade ball. I guess they're saying Brisbane's not just a place for retiring drag queens. It's a hot, wild and very exciting place.
This is a queer-friendly social group, which basically means you can go and so can I. You can see the tropical colours on the back of their truck. It looks steamy, doesn't it?
It does. A little bit whiffy in the heat. Oh, they're enjoying themselves. Hello.
You can see some beautiful gym work's been done by some of these chaps. I know many people marching tonight are feeling very strongly about superannuation and how we should have equity with heterosexual people, but actually the focus is on dancing right now.
And this is the Jungle Pride group from the Blue Mountains, dressed as different jungle inhabitants. It's a small group of friends. It's the first time they've had their own float in the parade. They just wanted to have fun, have a bit of visibility, say we're here in the Blue Mountains and we're having a good time.
The Blue Mountains, of course, is occupied massively by gay and lesbian people. There's hardly any normal Christian families up there at all.
The best ad I've heard for it yet.
A lot more fun coming up. We look forward to seeing you in a moment.
Welcome back to the 2000 Sydney Gay Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. Someone here who, an unsung, well, she's not twirling and she doesn't have a fringe top on or anything like that, but I tell you what, she makes it happen behind the scenes. Sue Webster from New South Wales Ambulance, welcome.
Thanks, Bob.
Now, you coordinate with St John's. Now, what's the difference between St John's and New South Wales Ambulance?
St John are the unpaid volunteers that do all the background work to a lot of the sporting fixtures. The ambulance service are the full-time professionals that do the work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So
Just
we work in well for all these major events.
Just how big a job is Mardi Gras for you?
Mardi Gras tends to give us the biggest workload of any event during the year, except for New Year's Eve this year, which actually outdid Mardi Gras for the first time.
Now, is it true that New Year's Eve there wasn't nearly as much trouble as everybody expected?
We were exceptionally busy in Sydney. We did 750 casualties, which is twice what we normally would do. So, but it was very well controlled by the police and emergency services.
And how does Mardi Gras compare to that?
Mardi Gras is extremely well coordinated by all the police, all the Mardi Gras people. Everyone works in really well.
Isn't that lovely to think that such a huge... I think that doesn't get told, the story of how safe the parade is for such a huge event.
The parade's very safe. There's about 50 different organisations all working together to make sure that the city gets a really safe parade.
We're so proud of you and all your work, and well done to all of you. Sue Webster, thanks, girls.
I have so much respect for the people who do serious work on a night like this. The marching fiasco.
Yes, this of course is a satire on the Olympic marching band's fiasco. Were the foreign bands in? Were they out? Knee-jerk reactions all over the shop.
Some nasty aspersions cast on the capacity of Australians to move in a synchronised form.
That's right.
And I think we've proved tonight there are trillions of gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, everybody welcome bands who could synchronise across that Olympic landscape forever.
Well, I hope Rick Birch is watching tonight. Look, they're wearing little Olympic hats and everything. Here's our opening ceremony right here.
Luna Park
as close as we'll get to the
Appalettes.
Olympics, let's face it.
Luna Park Appalettes, they're fantastic. Although, I have to admit, they don't appear to be blowing their trumpets.
Blowing their own trumpets. They say it's about being proud of the Australian product. Australian bands are not considered good enough by Australian organisers, and that's not right. It's all a bit outrageous, they say. Of course, quite a few people thought that the so-called board should have been given their marching orders. Let's see how good they are.
We've moved now, I think, to South Sydney City Council.
Yeah, here's a marching group. They're costumed as sweepers and as other council employees.
And I'm afraid I saw a few too many council employees leaning on their brooms.
They're having a smoko. Vanessa's with one.
Yes, well, I'm here with the South Sydney Council street sweepers, and of course Darlinghurst comes into South Sydney Council's jurisdiction. Is it a filthy suburb?
It's very, very dirty.
How much work does it take to clean it up?
About an hour a day.
Yeah, so look, I'm going to have a go. Do you mind? There's work to do.
That'll last a minute.
South Sydney Council has been one of the great supporters of the Sydney gay and lesbian community, so it's actually great to see them actually in the parade tonight. But I would like to see them pushing the brooms a bit more.
Enough smoko, get along. Come on, nothing to see here, people. Of course, in South Sydney and that area, really, it's a very dynamic area with traditional families who live side by side with people from all sexualities and genders, and it's a really exciting and tolerant place. Shame about the football club being booted out.
They're moving their brooms up Oxford Street now. There's the council, a classic group of inner city houses. A lot of smoke coming out of the top.
The tiles are looking all right, considering that was one part of Sydney that got badly damaged in the hailstorm.
More twirling of ribbons on the end of sticks, another indicator of homosexual tendencies.
Well, look, it's the radical fairies. Where would a Mardi Gras be without the fairies? I don't know if they've been sniffing the snail bait. I don't know if they've been sniffing the snail bait down the bottom of the garden, but they look very excited tonight.
And these fairies come from all over the world. There's some from the United States, from France and from Amsterdam. They've travelled all the way here from Amsterdam with those sticks with little ribbons to whirl them about.
Yeah, and look, they're in a little parody of a normal backyard with its little picket fence.
That's the shopping spree float. This is a commercial float because shopping, of course, is another intrinsic gay and lesbian transgender activity.
I think it crosses all barriers, a good shop.
I often see these buses whirring about the Surrey Hills area of Sydney, and a surprising number of fairies are inside those buses.
Looking for a red spot special. In fact, Vanessa's caught a fairy.
We've got the radical fairies here. Now, what are you? Are you some sort of spooky group that are trying to scare children? What's going on?
Well, I think if I knew, I probably wouldn't be in the group.
Yes, well, I don't think the colours would scare the kiddies at all. I think they love anything with colour and movement, don't you?
Colour and movement. I love colour and movement.
Here's to the radical fairies. Fly away, you beautiful insect.
That first one, I'm sure, was Virgil from the Thunderbirds dressed up as a radical fairy.
The Sydney Gay and Lesbian Business Association are marching for the very first time in the parade. This is a group of business people. It's sort of a gay and lesbian transgender Rotary.
Yeah, and it's not just business owners, it's for anyone who's queer, they say, who works in the corporate world. Their slogan is out in business, and they want to help gay and lesbian people work together, network together, and they support one another's businesses.
When the boys get together, it's called Fruits in Suits, and when the girls get together, it's called Lemons with a Twist.
Lemons, is that a lesbian term?
Lemons is a lesbian term, Amanda.
Thanks, Julie.
I don't know, Amanda, but when you say lesbian, I find it doubly exciting.
Oh, it's hotting up in here. Back to the parade. We're getting hot and heavy in here. There's a giant heart there. Whose heart might this be? Oh, these are the lesbian doctors. This is their medical unit.
It's so exciting that doctors have got together to have a presence at the parade, because it is hard to come out to your doctor, particularly when you've got to ask them to do intimate things to you. How do you bring up your sexual preference? But it may be relevant to your health status. We're moving again now to synchronised line dancing. Again, that very obvious symptom of homosexual tendency.
These are the Australian line dancers and cloggers. And this year they've got rid of the hay bales, they've got rid of the Stetsons, and they're going for the Hollywood MGM thing. They've just got a film set happening this time, and they're sick of the old cowpoke, as is the cow, I'm sure.
We there had Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz in clogs line dancing. That's cultural diversity.
Gay Opatra and the Gilliganettes. A large pink sphinx. Haven't we all died to see that? And Cleopatra and her love slaves. I mean, you've got to hand it to Cleopatra. She knew good eyeliner. She's got love slaves. She knew how to have a good time.
This is a group of gay and lesbian friends, and some straight couples who are friends too, who just love the movie Cleopatra and so are reenacting it as part of the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. The Good Ship Lollipop.
I'm looking forward to this. This is an entry from the Midnight Shift, which is a club on Oxford Street. They say it's the first time. Oh, they've been appearing in the parade. There go the fireworks. This is a recipe for a tantrum or two. This is way past Shirley Temple's bedtime. In fact, there are 14 drag queen Shirley Temples dancing with their sailor boy boyfriends.
Again, some beautiful gym work being represented there. That man is holding back the ageing process by rhythmic activity in a gym situation.
At last, the answer to the question, what would Shirley Temple look like with a 5 o'clock shadow? And if she looks like this now, what's going to happen when puberty hits? There they are. There's the Shirley Temples. Is she a gay icon, Julie?
I'm sure.
Not in your home?
I'm not sure.
Vanessa, of course, is going to be comparing hair with a Shirley.
Well, it is the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras, and who wants straight hair? It's the Shirley Temples. What's it like to live with curly hair?
Gorgeous, especially nice ringlets.
Do you have trouble getting a comb through it, and is there times where you find that you've got dreadlocks?
Who bothers?
No, well, darling, you be curly and rock on.
Absolutely. Love you.
Curly, not straight.
What always amazes me, Amanda, is that most nights of the year, if a man showed feminine tendencies, let alone wore a frock and a wig, he'd be thumped out in most streets in Australia, but it all disappears at Mardi Gras.
That's what everyone who marches in the parade says. It's the one night of the year where you just feel a huge outpouring of love and support from everybody you see. And then maybe it's the one night of the year where you get to wear a frock unless you're on the footy show, and then it can happen more often.
And you gather together with something like 650,000 people, as the crowd is estimated tonight, the biggest nighttime event in the Southern Hemisphere, with no problems of violence. On the contrary, this amazing affection goes through the crowd.
I think the only arrests that they have every year are for fashion offences.
We're moving now to the Hunter region. That's north of Sydney, the Hunter Valley region, and this is the Fabba float.
Oh yes, this is two of my favourite things, ABBA and a wedding. We've got both those things today.
Well, it could be a wedding if gay and lesbian people are allowed to marry.
A commitment ceremony.
It's a commitment ceremony.
That's right.
Two people have actually got together, Felicity Morgan and Lucy Filaccio.
And they had a commitment ceremony at 7:30 this evening at the very beginning of the parade.
A commitment ceremony is when a celebrant has a public ceremony to mark a relationship in the gay and lesbian community. And many people are now having these. There's literally hundreds of them every year across Sydney.
They're celebrating the ceremony tonight with an ABBA cover band called Fabba.
Now we've gone to south of Sydney, the Cronulla Gay Group, and these are their Rings of Friendship. This is another social club in a suburban setting, away from Oxford Street. Of course, there aren't so many venues where you can go and hold hands, let alone kiss someone of the same sex.
That's right. They've got 60 members and they organise barbecues, dances, nights out and other social activities. They've been in every parade since 1982.
And many of these social groups are the core of the social life for gay and lesbian people outside of the big cities.
As you can see behind us, there's plenty more to come, so don't go away. You're watching the 2000 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. Back soon. Vanessa's downstairs. I was going to say, I bet she is, with a man from Liverpool.
Yes, look, we are here from Liverpool. Kazula, I know Kazula well. There's a wonderful exhibition out there, a wonderful art gallery. What's it like being gay and living out west in Sydney?
That's fantastic. We need more people to come out. That's unbelievable.
Because sometimes people say it's a bit of a bubble in the ghetto of the city. Is it a bit tougher out in the west?
It's getting there. Well, we got places to go. We've got the venue. That's Thursday night. That's gay. KC's done a fantastic job getting a gay community up there running.
Good on you, darling. Well, look, it's not only happening in the inner city of Sydney, it's happening out west at Bankstown, Liverpool, Casula, wherever. Bye, darling.
There is a perception that somehow gay and lesbian rights have been won, largely because a parade like this has been going for 23 years, our 23rd parade tonight. But for many people living outside the inner city ghetto, it's still a pretty thrilling and challenging thing to walk down the street holding hands. You can, of course, get your head punched in, so it's great to see so many suburban groups coming and being represented in the parade.
This is Bite Me. This entry is organised by a group of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender friends who met online. This is a very modern story here, gay.com. And they've chatted with each other, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, Bathurst, Orange, and they're all marching together on the float.
Do you think they're getting a surprise to see what they actually look like if they've only been chatting?
Well, it's such a modern way to find a partner, but it's happening more and more. Romance on the net.
We've now moved really west of Sydney to the wild mountain women, and note that old-fashioned spelling when women were spelt with a Y. These are people from Blackheath, Katoomba, Springwood, where I often spend a bit of time myself.
I can see the three sisters there.
And the three sisters, I told you they'd become gay and lesbian.
There's something in the mountain air, the whiff of eucalyptus.
A huge community up in that area, many big gay events at Katoomba. I say that Mardi Gras are spending a lot of money on fireworks tonight. This will be about the 15th time they've gone off.
Aren't they beautiful?
Often I find when I'm shopping in a supermarket west of Sydney, you'll see someone twirling a stick behind you, waving a flag, and you just know that you're with people of like kind.
Here's the Australian Sailing and Cruising Club. This is a Sydney-based gay and lesbian sailing club which has been active for over a decade, and these guys are organising the sailing events for the 2002 Sydney Gay Games.
There are going to be these huge games in 2002 which will make the Olympics look like a very pathetic suburban club meet.
They'll have better outfits.
You know, if the Mardi Gras goes for another 23 years, there will not be a human activity that will not be represented by a float. I haven't seen, for example, the gay, lesbian, transgender lawnmowers, but I bet they're coming.
Oh, you missed them?
Do you want to know what transgender means?
Well, what is transgender? Is it transsexual, transvestite, all of those things?
It's really a term that covers everybody, man, woman, and people who aren't sure which toilet to go to.
This is the gay and lesbian scuba divers supporting marine conservation.
Did I tell you that every human activity was going to be represented? You're underwater, you've got a face mask on, you're blowing bubbles, and yet you see someone coming towards you twirling a stick. And you think to yourself, it's a transgender person underwater.
A lot of work has been done underwater by the gay and lesbian community. The Barrier Reef, for example, it's fantastic. Lots of colour.
Ah, girls, I've got a pillar of the Sydney community. She's got a distinctly French sort of flavour about her. People at home will know her, of course, with Cooking with Claire on the midday show. Claire de Lune. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. What a fantastic evening. Colour, movement, gaiety.
What about the multiculturalism of it? Isn't it incredible?
Oh, I love it. You know, one of my favourite floats were the marching fiasco. A little peek at the Olympic there if I see one.
And what would you like to see at the opening of the game?
Oh, I think I could like to see at least 200 drag queens marching down on the stadium.
At least. Well, it would be good if there'd be 200, then wouldn't it end up being a bitch fight about who it's going to be. Now, you're the host, aren't you? The hostess of the Stolly VIP bar. What's going on in the VIP bar?
Oh, darling, it's gossips. We have the lovely Ewan McGregor, of course, Molly Ringwald.
Are they getting on?
They're actually adorable people. I don't have anything bad to say about them.
And Felipe from the Village People, I believe he's been very quiet. Have people been encouraging him to come out of himself?
This is 80s stardom for you. Promotion. That boy has been working the room like there is no tomorrow.
Claire, thanks so much for joining us. And girls, what's happening?
Happy Mardi Gras!
Moving now to the Phoenix Butterfly, a costume that has taken over 12 months to develop. It takes a lot of guts, too, to walk this far on hard road in stilts, because I used to be a stilt walker, and that's not an easy job.
Wow, isn't that extraordinary? The butterfly is Herb Robertson, and he's been working on this costume for 12 months, from fishing rods, bike lights, fabric paints. He says he's dedicating this work to all the people he's known who've died from AIDS, because the Phoenix Butterfly rises from the dead, representing rebirth for the soul and mind. A beautiful entry from Herb Robertson.
At the huge party that follows the parade, there's a judging of all these costumes. And I'd say our Herb will be in with a chance to win a costume prize. That's really fantastic.
Just keep him away from the cabbages. Now, rumoured to be performing at the party every year, Julie, as you know, there are always rumours that someone extraordinarily famous is going to be performing at the party afterwards. There's been talk of Madonna, there's been talk of Shirley Bassey, Shania Twain. Every year I hear that Cher's going to be at the party. This year, lots of talk about Barbra Streisand. Well, this is the concert to end all concerts. Here they all are on one big fat stinking float.
I think I can see the Supremes! The Supremes with a moustache, something I detected 20 years ago.
And all three of the Supremes, considering one of them's dead. If you just close your eyes and listen, it could be Barbra Streisand, or it could be a loose fan belt on the truck.
Oh, my goodness me.
What's this?
This is some very enthusiastic dancing.
Satellite Media. This is a subsidiary of the Satellite Group, which is the world's first publicly listed gay company. And they've acquired a number of gay and lesbian magazines from all around the country. And the editor of Outrage came up with the idea for this float.
Now, I'm told that Nell Schofield is going to be kissing her girlfriend enthusiastically.
Yes, Nell.
I can see Nell Schofield now, an ABC radio broadcaster and woman about town. Oh, my goodness me.
Oh, goodness me.
I know, this is not Nell Schofield. I want to make that completely clear. This is some rhythmic activity in the back of a car reminding...
Getting to know you.
I had an adolescent flashback then. In that flashier car. Although I must say, there was only two of us in the car, I swear, at the time. Too much information. More ribbon, more rhythmic movement, more gay, lesbian, transgender people.
We're starting to see what you're thinking, Julie. There is a pattern emerging.
Every human activity represented. I'm only sorry we haven't brought you the women's table tennis group. I know they're nearby.
They're still to come.
But should you get a desire to pick up a bat and hit a ping pong ball, don't be afraid of these feelings. We've got counselling services all over the country you can speak to.
But that's the point of a night like this, isn't it? All length and breadth of leisure, of sport, of fun. We're all the same. The Gay Games and Cultural Festival. Another entry for this.
Only 974 days to go. And the great thing about the Gay Games 2002 in Sydney is that you don't have to be an elite sports person to be part of it. As long as you're madly enthusiastic. I know, for example, Bob is going to engage in girly running and handbag throwing. But
and towel flicking.
There are, of course, people who are immensely keen about sport. Physique is one of my favourites. This involves the development of extraordinary muscles. And you show them to people. You can see some muscles on that chap's stomach. They're just above the lame bikini
He's
bottom.
going for gold.
Just below the bra. What do you call it when men have all those ripples on their chest?
Is it a six-pack?
A six-pack. And here we see all the different countries represented. Zurich, Beijing, Sydney. You know, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gay, lesbian and transgender people are going to come over here and engage in sporting activities.
A hula hoop as a demonstration sport.
I'm glad they're bringing back the hula hoop. I've missed it. I know women who are training madly for this 2002 Gay Games event, riding their bicycles across the country, building up their muscles.
You're not one of them? Funny that.
Well, now I've heard from one of the earlier floats that you can retard the ageing process through rhythmic repetitive activity. I'm going to toil a lot more.
Don't go too far back, you'll be in a nappy.
Oh,
the hula hoop.
Multiple hula hoops.
I thought I'd never see it again.
I think you should do that on your radio program.
Well, it works well on the wireless.
That is very good work. If there's going to be a lot of hula hoops at the 2002 Games, I think there's going to be a revolution in the attitude to sport among the gay, lesbian, transgender community.
I don't want to frighten you, Julie, but I saw a couple of words lurking in the background there. They were spelling out the end.
Not of the parade.
Yeah, of the parade. We're almost there.
But we've only had 7,500 people and 220 floats.
Can you believe it? We should point out at this stage that no drag queens were harmed in the making of this parade. Though a couple are looking worse for wear.
I just want to make one final mention of superannuation. I want the current federal government to give me equity on superannuation. They're taking it out of my pocket, then I should be able to say who it goes to, and that's what transgender, gay, lesbian people want.
Oh, look, here it is. There's always someone who ruins the party, and it's always this lot who carry these words.
That's over 7,500 people on over 200 floats. What a night.
What a night indeed. And we're going to be back in a minute to wrap it all up with our two favourite hornbag co-hosts.
Well, if that was the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras 2000, I think we've had it.
Absolutely, but just think the naughties have only just started, Manny.
It's been a gorgeous night, and I did it all so I could be wrapped around Amanda Keller.
Oh, it was worth it for me. Thanks for having us.
Look at that, love balloons. Good night, everybody.
We love you, Australia and the world.
Thanks for joining us.
Yay!